This will let the government track outbreaks in real time and move resources where they're needed. They will also use this data for making any changes to CDC guidelines.
And so we're, of course, taking a close look at this in real time, and we're evaluating rates of transmission as well as rates of severe outcomes as we look at updating and reviewing our guidance.
Coming up in our next half hour, we talk to our national health reporter, Aaron Billups, on this new strategy to monitor cases. The World Health Organization says cases across the world are dropping, but deaths continue to climb. According to its latest update, the organization reported the U.S. has the highest number of deaths. India, Russia, and Brazil follow. The WHO reports more than 5.7 million people have died around the world. As for cases, the organization reports cases fell 17% worldwide over the last week compared to the week before. Here in the U.S., cases dropped by 50%. Data also shows the Omicron variant continues to be the dominant variant, making up nearly 97% of all cases. Pfizer is working on a new COVID-19 treatment for kids. Right now, the antiviral pill Paxlovid is used to treat the virus for high-risk people 12 years and older. The pharmaceutical company now wants to study the effects of the drug on children as young as 6 years old. However, Pfizer is still waiting for full approval from the FDA. The company says it expects that decision in the second half of this year. Pfizer's chief scientific officer says the company is also working on a, quote, next generation pill to help treat COVID. New updates for you today. Norwegian Cruise Lines just dropped their mask policy, saying, quote, the decision to wear a mask covering when on board is at the discretion of each guest. Still, though, they strongly recommend people to wear face coverings. The cruise line has new 100% vaccination and testing policies slated to start March 1st. Their ships will require full vaccination for both crew and guests over the age of 5. New information on the tensions between Russia and Ukraine. Japan's prime minister, along with Canada's prime minister, are pledging their support for Ukraine. Japan's foreign minister's office says the two world leaders are concerned about the ongoing crisis and will monitor the situation as Russia's military moves closer to the border with Ukraine. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also met with Japan's foreign minister. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor announced her pick to serve as Tampa's next top cop. Castor named Mary O'Connor to take the job. She still has to be approved by the city council. O'Connor would be taking over for former chief Brian Dugan, who retired in September. O'Connor is a familiar face in Tampa. She served the police department for 22 years, eventually serving as an assistant chief before retiring in 2016. In 1995, she was arrested on charges of battery on a law enforcement officer. She was suspended, then fired, then later reinstated. According to reporters at the Tampa Bay Times, that same year, she was also given a life-saving award for helping two officers who were shot. Jason Lanning is getting reaction from community leaders about the new police chief pick. Disappointment is the common reaction we're getting from community leaders about the new police chief pick. The question is, will city council members spend the day considering all of that reaction before the confirmation happens tomorrow? The NAACP, the Tampa Police Union, and a former Hillsborough Hispanic liaison say they were pushing for the current interim chief, Ruben Butch Delgado, to get the job. President of the NAACP, Yvette Lewis, says she's concerned about Mary O'Connor becoming the next police chief because O'Connor was in police leadership when the agency was disproportionately citing black bicyclists. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor was police chief at the time of the Biking While Black scandal.
Heard about her involvement with the Biking While Black. And, so I'm curious to hear what she has to say to the NAACP regarding that issue. So we would have